Hello, good day, happy morning. This is Iris Zero here. Very tired, very tired. It was a long weekend, but I did do something interesting. Well, kind of interesting. I saw Terminator Genisys. And before I continue on, this will have some spoilers. I'm not going to categorize as light spoilers or whatever. So, if you don't want to go into the film blind, if you don't want to know anything besides whether or not it's good, um, before I start, I'll say it's okay. So, based on that, if you want to go see it, go see it. But from this point on, this could have spoilers. I'll keep them down to a minimum, but it could have spoilers. So, I went into this with absolutely almost zero, with zero kind of knowledge on like backstory in terms of filming and story and stuff like that. Like everything I knew about it was based on the trailers. It wasn't based on news stories or media leaks, whatever. So I was a little bit confused at some aspects. From what I gathered, again, first spoiler, it looks like Terminator 3 and 4 or 3 and Salvation never happened. Because according to this timeline, Judgment Day happened in August 97. August 97. According to Terminator 3, it didn't happen. Sarah Connor lived long enough to see Judgment Day come and go, and then she died of leukemia. But obviously that didn't happen. Judgment Day did happen, so we were put in the war. So yeah, it was definitely confusing on where it's setting. It did have a lot of callbacks from the first two films, and those were those were probably the two movies it focused on. Didn't focus on 3, definitely didn't focus on Salvation. And definitely Salvation is saying that definitely did not happen, because it showed John Connor meeting Kyle Reese, and Kyle Reese was just a little kid and John Connor saved him. So it didn't look like there was nothing about that weird Terminator from Salvation. None of that happened. And it now like reset the timeline, changed the timeline to where a Terminator went back before, when Sarah Connor was just a child. Oh, actually, yeah, these are major spoilers. So yeah, I'll just avoid them. I didn't think it was awful. I think he's only getting like a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'd be one of the 27%. I did have some issues with it. Firstly, when I went to sit down, I looked at my ticket and I noticed the age was 12A. And in Ireland, that means you have to be, if you're under the age of 12, you have to have like assistance or guidance. So then kids, so I was sitting down, this was like the 7 o'clock show, then kids started coming in, young kids, it's like, oh no, it's either going to be too violent, they're going to get scared, or they're going to love it, which means the movie's going to suck. It wasn't bad. I mean, there was violence, there was stabbing and killing, but obviously it wasn't gory. It was nothing like the first Terminator or Terminator 2. I thought they threw too much nostalgia at you right away. Like, first off, it remade the original scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up. He meets the gang, but then it cuts right away to like old Arnold Schwarzenegger attacking him and them fighting, which you can see in the trailers, yada yada. Then it showed the T-1000, I think, from Terminator 2. I think it was T-1000. And this was all in the space of like the first half hour, and just threw it all at you. It's like, right, here's nostalgia, you have all these lines, all this stuff. And then it kind of moved into its own movie, but it still had some throwbacks, like Terminator trying to appear more human, and yada yada yada. Overall, it was, honestly, seeing what the source material is, I thought it was the best they could probably do, besides a full-on remake. It wasn't incredibly awful. It had J.K. Simmons, who I absolutely love. Whether he plays a rapist in Oz, J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, or this, he's very good, and he puts a little humor in it. I thought the humor, actually going on to the humor, I thought it was too much. It was definitely pandering to the younger audience. It wasn't something adults would find funny, like maybe the ladies who were just with their boyfriends. But generally, it wasn't like Terminator isn't known for its humor. At least the first two films, even though it had maybe one or two kind of fun lines, but it definitely wasn't a comedy. This was a bit of a comedy. It gave a quick kind of explanation why Arnold Schwarzenegger looks old, rather than doing CG for the whole film. So let's save money and say, you know what, he has organic tissue, so he gets old. So that's how Terminator gets old. Overall, I liked it. I would recommend it. Maybe I don't want to go into the whole rent it, but maybe wait for Blu-ray. Maybe if it pops up on Netflix. It's not something you should rush out to see. And hopefully, it looks like it could be the last Terminator. Definitely. I thought it was kind of arrogant. Like, if it is the thing where Terminator 3 and Salvation never happened, it's kind of arrogant to say, oh, no, we're getting rid of that. This is going to be the ending. This is going to be the third movie, the real sequel to Terminator 2. That's kind of arrogant because, the other two films had their problems, but they weren't awful. None of the Terminator films after 2 were awful. But to say like, oh, we're the best one, we're so good, we're gonna wipe everything clean, it's kind of arrogant. And it's all James Cameron's fault. He sold the rights to his wife for like $1 and then he got divorced. Ugh, I don't know. But Terminator Genisys, if you're a Terminator fan, go see it out of curiosity. Just to see how, because it's a Terminator film. I would put it as the third best Terminator film. I never saw Sarah Connor Chronicles. I think only saw the pilot episode, thought it was okay. But never watched Sarah Connor Chronicles, even though people thought it was excellent. Never watched it. And obviously that definitely never happened. So that's been completely wiped. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do another Terminator. Maybe not, because apparently this had the worst opening weekend of any Terminator film. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But, from how it ended, it could be the last Terminator. And I will... Okay, spoiler and the ending, not telling you what happened as such in terms of scenes or, who lives, who dies. It had a happy ending. Which I'm really, really surprised at. And it's nice because all the Terminator endings they're kind of grim. They're kind of grim, but it was a happy ending. It was a happy ending. So if this was the last one, it's probably the best way you can go for a Terminator film. So would I recommend you go see it? Meh. Why not? It's up to you. Flip a coin. I think you're good either way. And if it's no, it'll probably be on Netflix. Get it rented, get on DVD, on demand, whatever. So yeah, Terminator. Meh. That's my review. Meh. So until tomorrow. Yeah, I suppose until tomorrow. If you thought this review was whatever, like it, subscribe, yada yada yada. You know the drill. So till tomorrow, have a good one.